Ladies and gentlemen, before we get into the actual Dendroculus video, there are a few things to keep in mind. The Dendroculus map will be on screen at all times, so you can see which one we are farming or which one we are looking for, as well as its location, and the number of the one that we are currently on will always stay on the screen right next to the map. And the next thing is do the Aranyaka quest or the Aranara quest, however you say the word, do the quest that involves the small green people. That quest is pretty much mandatory to get all of the Dendroculus. So if you haven't done it, stop watching the video, go do the quest. After you've done the quest, come back and watch the video and get all the Dendroculus. But with that out of the way, hope you enjoy. Let's get into it. Starting off with number 1, come to this portion of the map. You'll be at the edge of a cliff, and then looking out, you'll see a mushroom little thing with the Dendroculus in the center of one. Some Animo slimes, jump here, and that is numero uno. Moving over to the second one, right here on this portion of the map, you will see a path and then an arch with a tree trunk. Just climb the tree trunk as per usual, jump in the middle, and you will get the second Dendroculus. For the third one, come to the very top of this mountain, not the waypoint. This takes you underground. Go to the very, very top. You'll find it right there floating above that thing. You have to activate this with the Dendro, and then it'll take you up there. You do a bit of a grapple hook tether moment, and wabam, there is the third Dendroculus. For the fourth Dendroculus, come to this portion of the map on the ground level underneath the mushrooms. You'll find some electro enemies here, and you'll want to go up this small path, and it's just going to be right in the middle of the path. Pick that up, and that is the fourth one. Moving on to number 5, come to the very top of this pillar right here. It is a very long climb, so make sure you have a lot of stamina, or just glide from one of the mountains, and you'll find a confused Aranara as well as the Dendroculus. Pick that up, and that is the fifth one. For the sixth one, you're going to want to glide down to this petal right here on the map where my little marker is, and on top of the petal, not underneath, on top of it, you'll find one of these things that you can interact with Dendro, as well as the Dendroculus right above it. Pick it up, and that is number 6. As for the seventh one, you're going to want to come down to this path right here. This one's inside a cave. Once you get here, you will find a path leading inside a cave, and then we run for a fair while. Once you are inside the cave, you're going to want to climb the massive mushroom in the center of the area. It's a bit of a difficult climb, but once we get up there, we will find the 7th Dendroculus. Once you're at the top, it's just hidden in some shrubbery. You could also grapple here, I guess you could. But here is the 7th Dendroculus. As for number 8, you're going to want to go to this waypoint right here and then climb up the mountain just behind it a bit. Not too high. You just want to climb up to this level here. And because this next Dendroculus is floating in the middle of the sky, and I can't find the thing that I need to interact with for the life of me, we're just going to cheese it by, going to the top of that and gliding out into this open space right about here. And we can just see the Dendroculus appear in our sight just there. So we'll glide over to that bad boy, and that is number 8. And there you have it, number 8. As for number 9, though, this one you kind of have to pick up as a part of the Aranara quest. It's found at the very top of this mushroom here. Once you get here, if you've done the quest, you would have seen it at least, and you have to solve this puzzle by shooting these things with the Electro or Dendrogranum, and then you pick it up right here above this thing, and that is number 9. For number 10, you're going to want to come to the top of the mushroom where you see my player marker, and then from here, we're going to glide to the under compartment of the mushroom just south of us. And it's kind of, underneath the little glowing part. Glide in here. You can also tether if you see it available to you, but you can also just glide here and pick up the 10th Dendroculus. As for number 11, this is a bit of a long run, so go to the waypoint right here at the forest and follow this pathing. Once you get to this area underneath this massive mushroom, you will find, through the vines and the branches, a cave. Follow this cave all the way to the end of the very end. You might remember this place from the quest line for the Aranara if you have done it. This is essentially where you find the thing. Once you get to the very end, you'll see one of these little Dendro interactable rock walls. Hit it with a Dendro ability, and underneath there you'll find the 11th Dendroculus. For number 12, we're going to come to the Palace of Alcazar here, and we're going to go to the very top of the kind of, well, top building, the very peak. This is going to be at the very, very top of the tower, kind of building, monument thing, whatever you want to call it, at the peak. Continue to climb to the top, and that is the 12th Dendroculus. As for number 13, you're going to come to this portion of the cave, just south of the Palace of Alcazazare. And then when you're here, you will see this, well, door thingy. Jump off the cliff towards the, southeastern side. You'll see this small ledge with a plant on top, and underneath that ledge, you'll find the 13th Dendroculus. For number 14, we're coming down to the waterfall just south of the 13th Dendroculus. And for this one, it's pretty obvious, just in front of the waterfall. You're going to jump off from the top of the waterfall, and it's right there. And that is the 14th Dendroculus. For numbers 15 and 16, you're going to want to come to this part of the map, and we're going to go into a cave. You're going to want to follow this pathing. We're going to climb up this branch to our right side because it'll just make it easier to glide to the Dendroculus, which is on the stone pedestal thing over there. And this is Dendroculus number 15. As for 16, we're just going to glide over to this small waterfall, and you're going to see these floating little puzzle things here. Once you get into this little crevasse, the Dendroculus will actually be in a green bubble. Essentially, you're just going to have to solve the puzzle by getting the Dendrogranum and shooting these bad boys with the little things that they have attached. And then the bubble will disappear, and that is number 16 as well. For number 17, we're going over to this island in the middle of the water at the very northern part of the map. And once you get here, and if you've done the Aranyaka, if you've done the small green people quest, then this hole should be open. Jump in, and the Dendroculus is just waiting for you to pick it up. As for number 18, you're going to come to this portion at the very top of the cliff/mountain, and you're going to find some pyro slimes and this mushroom here. You're going to use an electro attack on the mushroom, and kind of electro and dendro combination on these two things here. It'll spawn this. You activate this mushroom to the right, and it will spawn some tether points above you. You can jump on this, get a bit higher, and you continue to tether all the way to the sky because this Dendroculus is high above the clouds. And there you have it. That is number 18. For number 19, we're going a bit west across the mountain range over to where this little pond is located on the map. You'll solve some withering puzzle, you'll get rid of the withering, and you'll find this mushroom right here next to the pond. Activate it with electro and then jump on it, and it'll send you high in the sky where the Dendroculus is, and that is number 19. For number 20, go down a bit south and get to this point on the map. You'll see some very dead trees and some tether points. Tether all the way up to them, and the Dendroculus is at the very top of the dead trees, and that is number 20. Going over to 21 and 22, these are in a cave, and if you have this waypoint right here unlocked, go to this waypoint. If you don't, then the entrance to the cave is right at this path right here. But once you're at the path or the waypoint, go into the cave and you'll see a puzzle, solve the puzzle, and come to this monument right here. And the first Dendroculus is rather simple. It's just kind of down here. After you've lowered the water level, you'll be able to pick it up quite easily, and that is 21. As for 22, you have to follow the cave essentially all the way through. It's quite the long run, so let's go into a time-lapse mode. Once you get near the end of the cave, or at least to this Venara looking village, you'll find the 22nd Dendroculus just sitting here, a bunch of some other flowers. And if you can jump high enough to pick it up, there is the 22nd Dendroculus. For the 23rd Dendroculus, come to this part of the map, and to find where I am, and we're going to go a bit further, look for this smoke pile. Once you're at this location, follow this pathing. We go under a bit of a cave, and then it does a bit of a loop around, take a sharp left, and you'll see the 23rd Dendroculus. For the 24th, you want to come down to this waypoint again that is in the cave, the entrance being right here. Once you're at this point, instead of going through the cave again like we did previously, this time we're going to want to climb up this tree trunk right here, and you'll see a path leading to the top left, and we're going to follow this path for a bit. Once you've reached the end, you'll see the Dendroculus floating there with a bit of a tether point. Tether to the point, it'll launch you up a bit, and there you have it. There is the 24th Dendroculus. 25 is quite simple. Come to this portion of the map, down this path, and you'll encounter a small tent with the Dendroculus sitting right inside it, and that is 25. For number 26, come to this portion of the map at least, and you'll see a massive tree trunk, and you have to pretty much go inside it. To get there easily, you can teleport, or rather, tether to the top of this building right here, and then just jump over. but the 26th Dendroculus is inside the tree trunk. Kind of just try to glide your way in, and there's the 26th. For 27, you can teleport to this statue of the 7 and just run here. It is behind the building of one of the Aranara chieftains or whatever. And once you get to the behind of the building, you'll find the Dendroculus sitting within this little thing before it's activated. Obviously, you activate this to do a little small puzzle, but that is the 27th Dendroculus inside there. For number 28, you come to this portion of the map right here, and you'll come to a cross section in the road, or a fork in the road, whatever it's called. And you're going to take the left fork, and then you're going to come to another fork, and you're going to take the right fork this time. And it's going to take you down a tree trunk, and in here you'll find a small Aranara hut. And in that hut, you will find the 28th Dendroculus. For number 29, we're coming down to this portion of this small river, and on the eastern side of the river, you will have a small mushroom that you can bounce on. Bounce on the mushroom, and the Dendroculus is right there at the top of the waterfall. Drop down, and there is the 29th Dendroculus. As for the number 30, you come to this waypoint and just go a bit northwest and come to this portion of the cliff. Once you get here, you will actually have a bit of withering that you'll have to do and deal with. Once you deal with that, you'll find this rock right here. Shoot this with some dendro damage, either Kole or Tignari, and then you'll have your 30th Dendroculus. As for 31, you're going to go to this portion of the map right next to the waypoint, but the waypoint is underground. And you're going to find this small tunnel. Dendroculus is actually just in front of the tunnel, but if you go further inside, you can find a portal in the sky. Go through that, and they'll take you to the Terra Shroom, Thunder Plume, World Boss or whatever, and also the waypoint, so go ahead and get that bad boy as well. For number 32, you got to go to this portion of the map right along this path, and as you might guess, at the end of the path, there is a cave entrance, and the Dendroculus is right here at the very entrance of the cave, and there is 32. For 33, you do have to complete the whole Aranara quest. Same for 34. And for 33, you got to go to this point right here on the map, and then you're going to find this interactable thing here as well with Dendro. You chuck the Dendro thing there, and 33 shows itself. And for number 34, this one is a miserable experience to actually get, but you want to go to this portion of the map on the surface level, and you will have to climb one of these spirally trees. Now, this is a very miserable experience to do, and I also don't think there's an easy way to do this. You probably could glide in from above, or maybe try to find an interactable that sends you up here, but I just manually climbed up here by glitching and climbing, and it is at the very tippity top of the actual spirally tree thing, and once you're at the top, that is number 34. For number 35, you're going to come to the very top of this mountain range right here. Once you're at the top, you'll find a mushroom. Hit that with a bit of electro, and then switch to a tall character because you need a tall person. Jump on top of the mushroom, go up there, and then you'll get the Dendroculus. The reason you need a tall character is because if you're using anything but the tall male or tall female, you probably won't get it, as I've tried this multiple times. For number 26, come to this portion of the map right here, and you will find another mushroom. Hit that with some electro, and for safety measures, go to your tall character, jump on the mushroom, and you'll get the 26th Dendroculus. Now, for 37 and 38, this is a long run, and you have to do these two together, kind of. You go to this portion of the map right here at the bottom of the water. Obviously, after you've solved the puzzle up there with lowering the water, this is quite an extravagant puzzle, but just follow this pathing after you've solved everything. Now use these tether points to get very high, and you'll see the Dendroculus over there in the distance. Get to this branch and slowly glide over to 37. As for 38, continue following this path. Once you get to these corridors and find these ruined enemies, the Dendroculus should be right there at the entrance of this room. Pick that up, and if you continue onwards, you'll find a domain down there so you can unlock the waypoint. For number 39, come to this portion of the map on the surface level, and there may or may not be some withering here. I cannot remember, but if there is, clear it out. And once you clear it out, there will be this rock right here. Hit it with some Dendro, and underneath there will be the 39th Dendroculus. Now onto number 40. Now this is an extremely long run, and it's rather tedious, but you have to start at this river. There are multiple starting locations for this one because this is a massive cave system, but I'm going to start at the river, so go to this river here, and at the end you will find this cavern. Now let's go into a bit of a time lapse until we come up to integral points. Just continue running past all these enemies, And eventually you'll have to do some puzzles here, so obviously kill them if you haven't done the puzzles. Once you get to this room, you'll have to play some music and do this little puzzle thing here to unlock the green door that is here. Continue following this path. And once you get to this open expanse, you'll be able to get the Dendroculus. Now follow me right now here. We're going to be gliding over to this massive trunk over in the distance. And as we get closer, we can see it appear. We'll just tether over to this mushroom like this. Jump off, and that is the 40th Dendroculus. For 41, we're going to jump over to this side of the map next to this small little pond. And at the top of this cliff face, we'll have a massive tree that we can kind of see through, and the 41st Dendroculus is in the tree. Now, 42, moving a bit more west from 41, will encounter a bit of a withering zone after you beat this withering zone. This rock right here, you either have to hit with Dendro, or you can, after you've just solved the puzzle, you can then just pick up the 42nd Dendroculus. For number 43, we're going to go up to this tower right here on the very top of this mountain cliff. And you're going to see a mushroom behind this tower. You're going to hit it with Electro just for security, jump onto it, do a bit of jump, and whoosh all the way up to the top. And the Dendroculus is at the very top. Climb these feathers and boom, there you have it, the 43rd. For number 44, we're going over to the Yasna Monument. This is a part of the Aranara quest, so you'll probably get this one as you're doing the quest. But essentially, it's just on top of this small little monument, on top of this mound. Climb the thing, and there is the 44th. Now, as for 45, which is just down in the pond next to Yasna Monument, for this one, it's a bit of a puzzle. You'll have to sing a song with the lyre from the Aranara quest to this Dendrogranum. And then from here, you'll have to collect a Dendrogranum and shoot 3 different circles, one being up there on top of that mountain, one being right here behind us over here, and one being over there in the distance. You'll have to shoot them. You have to break some other stuff as well along the way. And after you shoot all 3 of those things, you'll get a bit of a precious chest and the 45th Dendroculus. On to 46. This one can be easily achieved from this location right here and coming in from the northern side. Once you come from the northern side, you'll have this nice and easy walkable branch to climb all the way to the top of the tower. And at the top, we will find the 46th Dendroculus. For 47, we move a bit more south down to this point right here. And this one's quite simple. The Dendro interactive little rock rising thingy. Chuck some Dendro at that, and that is 47 right there. For number 48, come down to this portion of the map, just west of this waypoint right here. And when you get here, it's next to this big tree that you'll find this little thingamajiggy. Sing your song from the musical instrument we get from the Aranara quest. Walk into here, and you will be teleported, well, to a different area. I'm assuming inside the mountain. And as you can see, at the very top of this little mound, there is the 48th Dendroculus. And for 49, you're going to come down to this portion of the map where this path is located. Take the left path up to this little cave entrance. And this Dendroculus is quite short. It's right here at the entrance. Take a few steps in and boom, right there in the sky, number 49. And now starting off with number 50, we're going down here, starting with the Apam Woods at the very top. Along this path, you'll find a withering. Deal with the withering and get rid of that stuff, and there'll be one of these things again. The rock rises up, we hit it with Dendro, and there is the 50th Dendroculus. For 51, we are moving towards this little area here at the base of this massive tree right here. When you get to this side, the southern side of the tree, you'll actually just see an entrance to the tree, and the Dendroculus kind of floating in front, and that is the 51st Dendroculus. For number 52, we're moving to the top of this river right here. There is a small waterfall. We just want to be at the top of it, and like usual, the Dendroculus is pretty much just jump off the waterfall and kind of glide in front of it. And that is the 52nd Dendroculus. For the 53rd Dendroculus, we're moving a bit east out of the Apam Woods over to this slight mountain range here. You go to this point, and you'll see a bit of a field here. Move up, and you'll find another one of these rocks. Chuck some Dendro at it, and there is the 53rd Dendroculus. For Dendroculus 54, you're going to come to this area just above the O in Apam Woods, and the landmark we're looking for is this broken bridge with a tether point right above it. Once you're here, you'll see a gaping hole in the tree, and in there you'll see the 54th Dendroculus. Now, as for getting up there,
I'm used to the rain,
without a Zhongli or a Kazuha or a Venti, guess you can kind of come up here, and there you have it, the 54th. For Dendroculus number 55, you're going to go to about right here under the word Apam, and there's going to be a bit of a waterfall. Kind of get above the waterfall on one of these cliffs, and you'll see the Dendroculus just floating above the waterfall. Glide over to it, and that's 55. Now for 56, you're going to teleport to this waypoint right here, and you're going to have to interact with this thing by just hitting it with some Dendro, and then we'll spawn these tether things, and then we just follow this path until we get to the other tree. Once you're at the other tree, then do the same thing again with this one right here, and it will spawn these ones over here, and just grapple all the way until you can see it over there in the open. The Dendroculus is there, right there, and there you have it, 56, I believe. For number 57, come down to this open expanse. You can go to this domain right here and just travel north, and once you get here, there may or may not be a withering. I don't believe so, though. But once you do get here, next to this Dendrogranum, kind of hidden, secluded behind this rock, is another one of these Dendro interactable thingies. Check your Dendro, and there is the 57 Dendroculus. For number 58, we're moving over to the ruins of Dari, and we're going to be climbing the massive tree here. This one's quite simple. It's at the very top of the tree. You can just walk along the swirl, don't get hit by the boar, and there you have it. 58 is pretty high up above the sky. And for number 59, we're actually going to be jumping down into the hole of the ruins of Dari. For this one, you have to do the Aranara quest because that's what unlocks it. And once you've unlocked it, jump down the hole, get down here safely, don't die, and just follow this path. Once you get out into the open expanse, the Dendroculus is waiting for you to pick it up right there in the center of the room. And bam, there it is. And for number 60, come down the southwest of the ruins of Dari, out in this open plain, kind of towards the desert. And when you are here, you'll find one of these things. Sing your song to it, open the portal, and go through it. And once you're in, you'll see the Dendroculus floating right there, kind of on this supportive pillar. Just climb it, and you'll get the 60th. For number 61, we're going down to the very south of the ruins Dari, to this kind of rocky formation thingy. There's a waypoint here, and there's also some 2 lava shells that lead to a luxurious chest, but that is not the Dendroculus. The Dendroculus is actually above the area along these vines. Climb to the very top, and you'll have the 61st Dendroculus. 62 is another very simple one. Come to this portion of the map right here, surface level, and you'll find one of these rocks again that you just hit with Dendro, and it rises it, and underneath it is the 62nd Dendroculus. For number 63, come to this portion of the map right here along this path, and at some point you will find these stones and a hole in the ground. Now this is quite the long run, so bear with me here. And once you get to this big room, we need to get to the top of that tree in some way, shape, or form. And once you've made your way kind of near the top, the Dendroculus is just sitting on one of the branches, and there you have it. That is the 63rd Dendroculus. For number 64, we're going to go to this domain right here and follow the mountain ridge until we get to this point right here, and you'll encounter some of the Eremite kind of like structures here and some enemies. And once you get to the main structure right here, where there's a bit of a banner and staircase, underneath it in the shrubbery, well hidden away from society, you'll find the 64th Dendroculus. There it is. For 65, you just go a bit further southeast, and you'll encounter another one of those Dendro rocks, hit it with Dendro, and underneath it, you'll have the 65th Dendroculus. For number 66, you got to get to this kind of cliff edge just above, or rather at this water level. And once you're at this cliff, you'll see a bit of a path jumping over. We're actually just going to jump over towards the water, and underneath this little underpass, the 66th Dendroculus is hiding. And there you have it, 66. And for 67, we are going to the dead center of the Apam Woods massive structure here. And if you've done the Aranara quest, this path is open to you, so you probably would have collected it already. But here is the 67th, just down the hole. You'll pick it up very easily. And now for the final one in the Apam Woods, we're going over to this waypoint right here. And once you're here, you'll see a mushroom right next to the tree. Put some Electro on that bad boy, step onto it, hit it with a jump, and into the sky you go, where the 68th Dendroculus is waiting for us in the tree. For number 69, we come over to this mountain ridge on the outskirts of the Apam Forest towards the east, And once you're here, the Dendroculus is just sitting comfortably in this broken down log, so jump in there and collect it. Moving further east from the Apam Woods, come to this portion of the map right here, and you'll see one of the Aranaro kind of thatch huts. And on the very top of the thatch hut, you'll find the 70th Dendroculus. For 71, we are coming down to the very bottom of the map down here, and you'll find one of these Eremite strongholds. You can very easily tether to the top of the stronghold to avoid combat, and then in one of these broken down stumps of wood, you'll easily find the 71st Dendroculus. 72 is another very easy one. You can use this, the Fishing Association, as a marker, but just go west of it to this little kind of flat plain. Once you're here, you'll find some wood and whatnot and a bit of a cog, and the 72nd is right in the cog. Now for the 73rd, it's over here in the middle of the water, and if you wanted, you could glide from the 72nd to the 73rd, but I recommend coming to the shoreline here because you have a bit of a time trial, which will take you to the Dendroculus as well as get you a chest along the way. So we use our tether as much as we can all the way along to get the Dendroculus as well as a chest at the end of this puzzle. For the 74th, it's pretty much in the exact same location as the 73rd, not in the water though, around that same shoreline. If you just follow it a bit more upstream, you'll see a ruin guard and this net that has caught the Dendroculus, and there it is, 74. For number 75, we are going just below this statue of the 7. Once you get here, you can glide in from above, and you'll see this empty log with a ladder, or rather hollow log with a ladder, and inside there is the 75th Dendroculus. For the 76th Dendroculus, we are going to go on top of this massive ruin guard's hand. Once you're on top of the hand, at the very, or at least the hand portion of it, we're going to jump into the kind of the grip of the guy and slowly glide our way until we see this small opening where the 76th is actually waiting for us. For the 77th, map-wise, we are still kind of on the massive ruin guard, but this time it's actually underneath him. It's quite a simple one to get to. It's just a small space underneath his arm, and once you get here, you'll just see it just floating there. Here's the 77th. For the 78th, we are going to this area just east of Port Ormos, or you can go to this waypoint up here and just go southwest. And once you get here, you'll have to play a song to this flower. It'll remove a shield, and then you can claim the 78th Dendroculus. For number 79, we're coming to the top of the ruin guard's head here. Now, once you're on top of the head, pretty much jump off the front side of his face and kind of slowly glide until you see the eye portion of his face. And then once you see the eye portion, you'll see the Dendroculus, and that is 79. Now, for number 80, we're going to go to this waypoint. If you don't have it, go ahead and do the Aranara quest line. You'll unlock it eventually. But once you're at this waypoint, follow this pathing. And then once you're at the end of this part where you see these mech things, come over here to the staircase, and there's a mushroom here that you're going to hit with some electro. Walk up onto it and just hit it with a bit of a jump, and it should take you all the way up to the top where the 80th Dendroculus is waiting. As for 81, you're going to climb all the way to the peak of this mountain, which is quite a long trek if you do not have this waypoint. But once you're at the top, you'll find one single enemy and then a singular tree. Climb the singular tree, and that is the 81st Dendroculus. For number 82, we're coming over to this plain on the surface level, and once you get here, this Dendroculus will be in one of those green bubbles, and I believe you have to shoot some things, or so it's quite the obvious puzzle, but it's in that bubble, and once you pop it, the Dendroculus is right there, and that is 82. Moving slightly northwest towards this mountain ridge for 83, get to the mountain edge and you'll see a tree. Just jump into that tree and start gliding, and you'll see that the 83rd Dendroculus is just hiding in the tree. And for number 84, we're going to this center platform here in the Devantaka Mountains. Once you get to the top of the platform, the Dendroculus is quite obviously just kind of sitting there and waiting for you to pick it up. Now, I do believe that you can't pick it up unless you have a bit of a Kazuha, so if you're just up here and unable to pick it up, there is a mushroom down here that I believe, if we hit it with a bit of an electro pulse, climb on top of it and do a bit of a bounce, we'll be able to get high enough to then glide into it. 85 is quite a simple one. Come to this portion of the map right here on the surface level, and it's just chilling on top of one of these circular huts. Quickly and easily climb to the top, and there you have it. Number 85. For number 86, we are moving slightly more east, and we're going to this little kind of weird kind of zone area, but yeah, regardless, you find it in a circle here, and you just have to solve the puzzle of shooting these things into that, and then a few other ones around the area, And then after you get rid of the bubble, the Dendroculus is free for your collection, and that is 86. As for 87, we move over here to kind of the outskirts of Sumeru and border with the chasm. We're looking for this little kind of section where my marker is. And once you get here, it's just chilling in the tree. No puzzle, no nothing. Just grab it from the tree. For 88, we are jumping over to this marker right here on the surface level. And once you get here, you'll have to sing a song to this flower and it will remove the mirage that the rock is, revealing the Dendroculus, which is 88. As for the 89th Dendroculus, come to this portion of the map right here, and you can kind of indicate it by the another pile of smoke right here. And for this one, we're going to go into the cave, so follow this pathing. Once you get into this place, you'll have to do some puzzles to lower the water level, but once you do those, the Dendroculus can be found by jumping off here and just looking to your left slightly next to this entrance, and that is the 89th Dendroculus. And then for the 90th Dendroculus, the same place that we started for the 89th, where that little campfire is with the smoke pillar going up. Instead of going in the cave, you go the opposite direction, and it should be sitting for you right here in this cog wheel. In a bit of water. For 91, we are coming to the tippity top of this mountain right here, and at the top you'll encounter a broken house, and inside that broken house is the 91st Dendroculus. Over to 92, we're going to go down to this part of the map, kind of near this bend in the path, and to find this one, you got to look for either a little Aranara that's singing, or this little boulder looking thing that's kind of surrounded by a vine slash tree trunk. And at the top will be the 92nd Dendroculus. And for 93, we're coming to this section right here, just above this tower here, and you'll also find a withered zone. You do have to complete the withered zone, and once you do that, this little thing will rise, and underneath it, there will be a 93rd Dendroculus. And for 94, this one's actually a part of the Varanara quest, so it's at Vimara village, and once you get here, you'll find this little kind of thing that you have to sing a song to, and then hit it, and it'll spin. You've probably picked this one up throughout the quest. It's right here, super simple. You might have accidentally picked it up without knowing, but there is the 94th. And for 95, it's just above the stream on this actual cliff rock where I'm standing. It's very on top of it, and it's just floating here very simply. Get below it and kind of try to jump or something. Get yourself a tall character and maybe jump. No? Is that not the answer? Do a run jump, apparently. As for 96, come to this part of the map on the very surface level. Once you get here, you'll see a tent and a mushroom. Hit the mushroom with some electricity and jump on it like this and propel yourself into the sky and get the 96th Dendroculus. As for 97, come to the top of this bridge or just at the very top of this mountain ridge. Don't drop down to the river. Once you're at the top of the mountain ridge, it's essentially underneath this rock bridge. Glide safely down, because there is a mushroom there, but you may as well just glide down because it's a bit easier. And there's the 97th. As for number 98, we're going to have to do a bit of climbing here, so go to roughly this portion of the map and you should find yourself this very large log or wood thing sticking out of the ground. Kind of hard to describe where it is, but you'll see there's a tether point to the top, so if you're on the opposite side over there, you can very easily tether to it. And if we look just below us, there is the 98th Dendroculus, so we jump off and bam. For number 99, we just move upstream just a little bit and we'll find a Hilichurl just digging in the dirt. We'll just pick up the Dendroculus without disturbing him, but we also get assassinated by some Spinodiles. And for 100, we're over here on this little kind of rock bridge at the very top of it, just to make this easier for ourselves. And from here, we're going to head slightly west and jump off the western side of this onto this little wooden beam. Then we're going to also slowly drop off of this edge and instantly activate our glider, so we can then glide to safety and get the 100th Dendroculus. 101 is also very simple. Come to this portion of the map on the surface level, and you'll find a mushroom. Use electric attacks on the mushroom like that. Activate it and then jump on it and go high in the sky and you'll pick up the 101st. Well, hopefully you'll pick up the 101st Dendroculus. For 102, come down to this part of the map, surface level, and you'll have to clear out a bit of withering that is just here to the right. And once you clear out the withering, this mushroom will appear right here, kind of next to this little mound area. Look up in the sky. The Dendroculus is there. Use electro, jump onto it like this, bam, and you go up into the sky. Or just switch to your tall character, because apparently this game only likes playing tall characters. Bam, there's 102. Now for number 103, we're coming over to this bridge just outside of Sumeru City. Once you're on top of the bridge, we're going to be doing a bit of a precise glide So we're going to jump off the side of it. Doesn't really matter what side, but you're going to jump off the side and glide. You're going to have to very precisely glide your way down, holding close to the bridge. And underneath there is the 103rd Dendroculus. Number 104 is just outside of that bridge. Following the path south, you'll encounter one of these rocks that you can use Dendro on. You use Dendro on it, and the Dendroculus is just underneath there. And that is 104. For 105, we're going to this part of the map. Just keep following that path down that we were just going along towards Gandavaville. And once you get to about here, you'll see this massive stump or massive wooden log. And it's just inside there, really. Climb up to it, and that is the 105th Dendroculus. As for number 106, this one's actually quite straightforward. So you just have to climb the massive tree in Gandavaville. It has a few of these tether points, so you can easily get up here. And once you get to this bridge section where, you know, you just go into tree, you can see the Dendroculus just kind of chilling over there in the distance. Climb a few of these branches and glide over to it, and that is 106. Now for 107, you've probably gotten this one because it's quite an obvious one if you're doing the main story, but go to this Shrine of the Seven right here and just glide towards Gandavaville. You'll see these two tether points. Just tether to them like so, and then one over here like so, and that is 107. Dendroculus. And then for 108, we're also going to that same Shrine of the Seven as 107. And then once we're here, we're going to just jump north down to the ground level, and there should be a cave with one of these monuments right in front of it. And once you're here, well, obviously, if you've done the R&R request, you've probably opened this as well. If you've done this monument, it's open. And then the side here is just the Dendroculus chilling very snugly. Now for the final two, number 109. For this one, you're going to have to come to the very top of Sumeru City where the chamber or the sanctuary of the Surasthana is. And from here, you're going to have to follow this pathing. And I'm going to show this because it's quite tedious to actually climb the Surasthana because it's a lot of different angles. So here we go. This is one of those things when you're climbing, you do have to be unnecessarily careful so you lose all your stamina and lose all your progress. But from here, continue just climbing the Surasthana until you roughly get to about this point. And then you should see like some way to get onto this or on top of this massive log right here. Once you're on top of this, you're pretty much in the clear. So just continue following this path. Up one of these branches, and this isn't the main branch. We're going to go to this branch right about here, and then we're going to jump to this left branch over here so we can just glide over to it, so we don't have to climb all the way up. Continue climbing up here, and as you can see, it's coming into view the 109th Dendroculus. Now, if you're at the 109th Dendroculus, to get the 110th and the final Dendroculus, quite simple. Just jump over to this island if you're still on top of that massive tree. Just jump towards this outer island right here. And you'll see that the Dendroculus is just kind of floating there above a mushroom. You can just interact with the mushroom with a bit of Electro and get it that way, or you can just jump down from the top of the tree and get it like so. And ladies and gentlemen, that is the final Dendroculus. Now, after you've collected all 100 Dendroculus, just come to your favorite statue of the seven. Mine is right here in Gandavaville. Interact with it. How do I do this again? Worship the statue. And just offer all 110, offer them all. You get a bunch of resources, XP, Primo Gems, Shrine of the Depth Keys, and Dendro Sigils to level up your purple Rutabaga, or whatever the fuck the thing is. Offer them all, and here you go. Wabam. And there you have it. We can get that to a total of level 5 this patch. More Dendroculus are coming in future patches. But that is it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If it helped, like the video and also subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next Dendroculus video, which should be in 3.1.